Do you know what destroys more dreams than failure ever will? Impatience. Not lack of talent. Not bad luck. Not being born into the wrong family. Impatience. We live in a world where everyone wants results by Friday. You post one video and expect it to go viral. You go to the gym for 2 weeks and expect a different body. You read one book and expect a different mindset. Then, when nothing changes overnight, you convince yourself that it isn't working. But here's the truth nobody wants to hear. The problem isn't that you're failing. The problem is that you're quitting before success even has a chance to find you. Think about it. A tree doesn't grow the day you plant the seed. An athlete doesn't become a champion after one workout. A millionaire doesn't build wealth after one good month. Every masterpiece you've ever admired was built in silence, through thousands of ordinary days that nobody applauded. Yet somehow you expect your life to be different. You're measuring progress with your eyes when you should be measuring it with your habits. Because the biggest transformations happen when it looks like nothing is happening. That's the part most people never survive. They mistake silence for failure. They mistake slow progress for no progress. And they walk away just before everything was about to change. So before you click away, I want you to make one promise. Don't watch this video looking for motivation. Watch it looking for patience. Because if you can master patience, you can outlast almost everyone. And the person who stays in the game the longest usually wins. Welcome to the Growth Mindset, the channel where discipline beats motivation, consistency beats talent. And every video is designed to help you build a stronger mind, a stronger body, and a stronger future. Today, we're talking about a truth that every successful person eventually learns. It's gonna take time, not because you're incapable, not because you're behind, but because anything worth building demands time. The hardest lesson you'll ever learn is that life doesn't reward the fastest person. It rewards the person who refuses to stop. That's why so many people quit just months before their breakthrough. They expect the reward before they've earned the experience. But success has never worked that way. It tests your patience before it rewards your persistence. And if you can understand that today, you'll stop chasing shortcuts and start building a life that actually lasts. Because from this moment on, your goal isn't to become successful overnight. Your goal is to become the kind of person who keeps showing up until success has no choice but to notice you. Here's something nobody tells you when you first start chasing a better life. The beginning is supposed to feel slow. That's not a sign you're failing. It's proof you're building something real. Most people quit because they confuse invisible progress with no progress. They work hard for a few weeks, maybe a few months, and when they don't see dramatic results, they convince themselves they're wasting their time. But what if the biggest changes are happening where your eyes can't see them? When you wake up early instead of hitting snooze, you're not just changing your schedule, you're changing your identity. When you choose the gym instead of the couch, you're not just building muscle, you're building discipline. When you read 10 pages instead of scrolling for an hour, you're not just gaining knowledge, you're becoming the kind of person who invests in growth instead of distraction. Those changes don't show up overnight, they compound. Imagine dropping one drop of water onto a rock. Nothing happens. Another drop. Still nothing. 100 drops. The rock looks exactly the same, but after thousands of drops, the stone begins to change. Not because of one powerful moment, but because of consistent pressure over time. Your life works the same way. Every disciplined decision is another drop. Every workout, every early morning, every book, every difficult conversation, every promise you keep to yourself. They're shaping someone stronger, even if the mirror hasn't caught up yet. This is why comparing yourself to other people is one of the fastest ways to destroy your own progress. You're comparing your chapter 2 to someone else's chapter 20. You don't know how many nights they stayed awake working while everyone else slept. You don't know how many failures they survived before anyone noticed them. You only see the finish line. You never see the years it took to reach it. Stop racing against other people's timelines. Race against the person you were yesterday. Ask yourself one question every night. Did I become even 1% better today? If the answer is yes, then you're winning. Because 1% better every day doesn't look impressive after a week. It barely looks different after a month. But after a year, you've become someone almost unrecognizable. That's how greatness is built. Not through giant leaps. Through ordinary days repeated with extraordinary consistency, and the people willing to embrace those. Ordinary days are the ones who eventually achieve extraordinary lives. One of the biggest lies social media ever sold you is that success happens overnight. You see the championship trophy, you don't see the 5 a.m. practices. You see the million subscribers. You don't see the hundreds of videos that barely got any views. You see the successful business. You don't see the years of rejection, failed ideas, and sleepless nights. The world celebrates the outcome but ignores the process. And that's dangerous, because it tricks ordinary people into believing they're behind when, in reality, they're exactly where they're supposed to be. The truth is, every meaningful achievement has an invisible phase. It's the season where nobody claps, nobody notices, nobody believes in you, sometimes not even you. This is the season that separates dreamers from doers. Because anyone can stay committed when they're winning. Very few people can stay committed when nothing seems to be happening. That's where character is built. Character isn't created on your best days. It's revealed on your hardest ones. It's revealed when your alarm rings, before sunrise and every part of your body begs you to stay in bed, but you get up anyway. It's revealed when you've uploaded 10 videos that barely get watched, yet you create the 11th. It's revealed when you've applied for another opportunity after hearing no over and over again. Those moments don't just test your patience, they strengthen it. Remember this, the world rewards consistency far more than intensity. Anyone can work hard for one day. Anyone can stay motivated for 1 week. But can you stay focused for 6 months? Can you stay disciplined for 2 years? Can you keep showing up when nobody is watching? Because that's where champions are made. Not under the spotlight, but in the shadows. The people who eventually inspire millions once spent years working in silence. No applause, no recognition, no guarantees, just faith in the process. So if you're in that silent season right now, don't panic. Don't mistake the lack of applause for a lack of progress. Roots grow underground long before anyone sees the tree. Your habits are becoming your roots. Every disciplined decision is making your foundation stronger. And when your time finally comes, people will call you an overnight success. They'll never realize it took years of invisible work to create a moment that looked effortless. So don't rush your season. Protect it, because one day everything you've been quietly building will become impossible for the world to ignore. Let me ask you something. Who are you becoming while you're waiting? Because that's the question that matters most. Everyone is obsessed with the destination. Very few people pay attention to the transformation. You think your goal is the reward. It's not. Your goal is becoming the person capable of handling that reward. Imagine giving $1 million to someone with no financial discipline. What happens? They lose it. Imagine handing success to someone who has never learned patience. Pressure destroys them. Imagine giving influence to someone without character. Power exposes them. That's why life doesn't just test your skills. It tests your readiness. Every delay has a purpose. Every setback carries a lesson. Every obstacle is asking the same question. Are you becoming the person who can handle what you're asking for? If the answer is no, life slows you down. Not to punish you, but to prepare you. Think about a blacksmith forging a sword. He doesn't strike the metal once and call it finished. He heats it. He hammers it. He cools it. Then he repeats the process again and again. To the metal, it probably feels like endless punishment, but every strike makes it stronger. Your life works the same way. The rejection you're facing, the failures you've experienced, the disappointments that made you question yourself. They're not proof that you're losing, they're the fire shaping your character. Most people run from discomfort. Successful people learn from it. They understand that growth rarely feels comfortable. If it did, everyone would choose it. The strongest version of you is built on the days when quitting feels easier than continuing. That's why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation comes and goes. Some mornings you'll wake up inspired. Other mornings you'll wake up tired, discouraged, and full of doubt. Those are the mornings that define your future. Because anyone can chase a dream when they feel good. The winners keep moving when they don't. That's what separates ordinary lives from extraordinary ones. Not talent, not intelligence, not luck. Consistency. Quiet, relentless, unshakable consistency. So stop asking, how long will this take? Start asking, who am I becoming through this process? Because one day you'll realize something incredible. The greatest reward wasn't reaching the destination. It was discovering the strength, resilience, and discipline that the journey built inside you all along. There will come a day when you'll feel like nothing is working. The alarm keeps ringing. You keep showing up. You keep putting in the effort. Yet your life looks exactly the same. That's the day most people quit. Not because they aren't capable, but because they mistake delayed results for failure. Don't make that mistake. Progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. Think about bamboo. For years after it's planted, almost nothing appears above the ground. If you didn't know better, you'd think the seed had died. But underneath the surface, something incredible is happening. The roots are spreading deeper and wider, creating a foundation strong enough to support massive growth. Then one day, what looked impossible suddenly happens. It shoots upward at an unbelievable speed. People call it rapid success. What they don't see is the years of preparation beneath the surface. Your life has seasons just like that. Right now, you may be building roots. Every disciplined morning, every workout, every page you read, every skill you practice, every temptation you resist. You're strengthening a foundation that nobody can see. And because nobody can see it, they assume nothing is happening. Don't let their opinion become your reality. Some of the most important victories happen in private. The day you finally keep a promise to yourself. The day you choose discipline over comfort. The day you refuse to quit after another setback. Those victories never trend online, but they completely change your future. Remember this: confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you earn. Every time you do what you said you were going to do, even when you don't feel like it. You build trust with yourself, and self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Not compliments, not likes, not validation from strangers. Real confidence comes from looking in the mirror and knowing you've kept your word. That's why consistency is so powerful. It changes more than your results. It changes your identity. Eventually, you stop saying, "I'm trying to be disciplined." You simply become a disciplined person. You stop saying, "I'm trying to be successful." You become someone whose daily habits naturally create success. Identity always outlasts motivation. So if today feels slow, if it feels like your hard work isn't paying off, keep planting, keep watering, keep showing up. Because one day the roots you've been building in silence will become impossible to ignore. And when that day comes, people will admire the tree, never realizing how much time it took to grow beneath the surface. Here's the truth that changes everything. Time is going to pass whether you use it wisely or not. 1 year from today will arrive no matter what. The only question is this: who will you be when it gets here? Will you still be making excuses? Still waiting for the perfect moment? Still telling yourself you'll start on Monday? Or will you become someone who took one small step every single day until their entire life changed? That's the power of time. It never asks for perfection. It only asks for consistency. Most people waste years because they're obsessed with making one massive change. They try to transform their entire life in a weekend. They create impossible routines. Wake up at 4 a.m., work out twice a day, read 3 books a week, meditate for an hour, cut out every bad habit overnight. Then what happens? By Friday, they're exhausted. By Sunday, they've quit. Not because they were weak, but because they underestimated the power of small, sustainable actions. The strongest buildings aren't built in one day. They're built brick by brick. Your future works exactly the same way. One workout won't transform your body. One book won't transform your mind. One productive day won't transform your life. But repeat those actions for months, then years, and suddenly people begin asking what your secret is. There is no secret, only consistency. Success isn't hidden behind complicated strategies. It's hidden inside ordinary habits that most people refuse to repeat long enough. That's why patience is a competitive advantage. While everyone else is chasing shortcuts, you're building foundations. While they're looking for instant results, you're developing lifelong discipline. And discipline always wins in the long run. Remember, every successful person you've ever admired had moments where they questioned themselves. They wondered if the sacrifice was worth it. They wondered if anyone would ever notice their work. The difference is they didn't stop. They kept showing up, not because it was easy, but because they understood something most people never do. The reward doesn't belong to the fastest. It belongs to the person who refuses to leave the race. So stop counting the days. Start making the days count. One focused morning, one disciplined decision, one promise kept, then another, and another. Because one day you'll wake up, look back and realize that the life you dreamed about wasn't built in one extraordinary moment. It was built through thousands of ordinary moments that you chose not to waste. And that's the true power of time. Now imagine yourself 5 years from today. Not the version of you that's hoping life gets better. The version that refused to quit. He wakes up with purpose. He walks with confidence because he kept the promises that everyone else broke. His body is stronger because he chose the gym when comfort called. His mind is sharper because he fed it knowledge instead of endless distractions. His finances are better because he learned valuable skills while others were chasing entertainment. People look at him and say, "You're lucky," but he smiles because he knows the truth. Luck had nothing to do with it. It was thousands of ordinary decisions repeated over time. That's how every extraordinary life is built. But now imagine the opposite. Imagine staying exactly where you are. Another year of saying, "I'll start tomorrow." Another year of watching other people chase dreams, while yours stay trapped inside your head. Another year of making excuses that sound convincing today but become painful tomorrow. That's the real cost of procrastination. It doesn't just steal your time, it steals the person you could have become. One day you'll wake up and realize life never stopped moving. The calendar kept turning. The opportunities kept passing. The people who committed kept growing. The only question is whether you moved with time or watched it move without you. You don't need to be perfect starting today. You just need to stop restarting. Stop letting one bad day become a bad week. Stop letting one mistake become a reason to quit. Every successful person has failed. Every disciplined person has missed workouts. Every entrepreneur has made bad decisions. Every creator has posted content that nobody watched. The difference is simple. They never allowed one bad day to become their identity. Remember this rule for the rest of your life. Never miss twice. If you fail today, win tomorrow. If you fall, stand up immediately. Momentum isn't built by perfection. It's built by refusing to stay down. Because every time you get back up, you're teaching yourself something powerful. I don't quit. And eventually that belief becomes stronger than every excuse. That's when your life changes. Not because the journey became easier, but because you became stronger. Time rewards people who stay faithful to the process. So don't be obsessed with how fast you're moving. Be obsessed with never stopping. Because the person who refuses to quit eventually reaches places that the person chasing shortcuts never will. So here's my challenge to you. Stop asking, "When will my life change?" Start asking, "What can I do today that my future self will thank me for?" Because your future isn't built tomorrow, it's built today, right now. Every decision you make is writing the next chapter of your story. Every time you choose discipline over distraction, you're casting a vote for the person you're becoming. Every time you show up when you don't feel like it, you're proving that your dreams matter more than your excuses. And one day you'll experience something incredible. You'll look back at the person you used to be, the one who wanted quick results, the one who almost gave up because progress felt too slow, and you'll barely recognize him. Not because one magical moment changed everything, but because thousands of ordinary days quietly transformed your life. That's how real success works. It arrives after years of unseen effort. After countless mornings when you chose discipline, after nights when you kept working while everyone else was sleeping, after moments when quitting seemed easier but you decided to take one more step. Those small victories become your greatest strength. Remember this for the rest of your life. Time is never working against you when you're working on yourself. Every workout is making you stronger. Every book is making you wiser. Every failure is making you tougher. Every setback is preparing you for a comeback. Nothing is wasted when you're committed to growth. So stop worrying about how long it's taking. Stop comparing your timeline to someone else's highlight reel. Your only job is to become better than you were yesterday. If you can do that consistently, success becomes inevitable. Not because life suddenly becomes easy, but because you've become the kind of person who refuses to give up. Years from now, people will admire what you've built. They'll celebrate the success. They'll compliment the confidence. They'll wonder how you became so disciplined. But you'll know the truth. It wasn't talent. It wasn't luck. It wasn't perfect timing. It was patience. It was consistency. It was choosing to keep going when nobody else believed in you. So, as you leave this video, make one commitment. Not to me, but to yourself. Promise that you'll stop chasing overnight success. Promise that you'll trust the process. Promise that you'll keep showing up, even when progress feels invisible. Because one day, the life you're dreaming about today will become your reality. And when that day comes, you'll realize something that most people never understand. It wasn't the destination that changed your life. It was the person you became along the way. If this message spoke to you, comment below. I trust the process. Let that be your promise to yourself. Subscribe to the Growth Mindset, where we build discipline, resilience, and the mindset to achieve greatness, one day at a time. Now go make today count. Your future is already waiting.